What's up everyone, it's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and it's a good day to be a Halo fan. Why is it a good day to be a Halo fan? Well, let's talk about that. So if you remember back at E3, when Microsoft announced the Xbox One X, and they had a specific scene on stage where they showed a bunch of games, there was over 30 of them confirmed at the time, that would have specific patches for the Xbox One X to take advantage of all the extra power and extra compute units inside the most powerful console ever made. It was showing off some of the first and third party games in a big list, a big presentation of the games that would be receiving these patches. We had games like The Witcher 3, Ghost Recon Wildlands, and of course Final Fantasy 15. Then Microsoft showed off a bunch of their own first party games that would be getting patches, including Gears of War 4, Forza Horizon 3, Forza Motorsport 7, and Halo Wars 2. One game that was noticeably absent, and myself included even commented on it, was the lack of Halo the Master Chief Collection or Halo 5 Guardians. More specifically, it was Halo 5 Guardians because it was still an ongoing current game receiving frequent updates and new content all the time, and it being the most up-to-date Halo game, and it was absent for some reason. So everyone was wondering about that, and everyone, Phil Spencer, Microsoft, 343 Industries, Bonnie Ross, whoever, they were all remaining pretty quiet about the whole thing. So that was until today. Now, why was that today? So let's talk about the actual reason why it was until today. So 343 Industries, Microsoft, whoever you want to call it, they put out this little announcement today. So I'm going to read it out for you here and now. Following its official debut at E3, there's been a tremendous amount of growing excitement around the upcoming release of Xbox One X and the promise of true 4K gaming. Many Halo fans were quick to note that Halo 5 was conspicuously absent from the list of games being given the 4K treatment. The team here at 343 Industries always had a desire to bring players the best Halo 5 experience for Xbox One X, but we weren't quite ready to make the announcement during the E3 timeframe. Today, we are excited to officially confirm that Halo 5 will receive a game update to support true 4K with the release of Xbox One X later this year. We'll have more to share on this front as we get closer to release, so stay tuned. So that's pretty good. They're actually confirming that they're going to have an Xbox One X patch to take advantage of the power to bring Halo 5 Guardians up to whatever it is, 4K or whatever way they're going to do it. Now, there's one thing I want to highlight. Okay, I'm going to read out a portion of one of the sentences that I already just read out because I want to highlight specifically the thing I want to talk about, I want to nitpick about. So here's the bit of the sentence I want to talk about. Halo 5 will receive a game update to support true 4K with the release of Xbox One X. So you'll notice that they used the term true 4K. So I want to say it one more time, true 4K. Okay? So the reason I nitpick about that is because now that we know Xbox One X and what's inside it and what other manufacturers and other publishers and developers are able to do with it and what the console, it gives us a general idea of what the console can actually do, it makes us question what they're going to do with the Halo 5 patch. Now, Halo 5 is by no means a bad game visually, but it's also by no means a forefront of technology pusher. It's not a visual masterpiece, it's not a visual tour de force, whatever you want to call it. It's just a decent looking game. It's not terrible looking, it's not exceptional looking, it's a decent looking game. And this is coming from someone who plays Halo 5 on the regular. I'm a big fan of Firefight, I play it a decent amount, so you can't call me a hater or a fanboy of something else. It's that simple. The Xbox One is a finite amount of technology and there's only so much it can do. So 343 Industries opted to use several techniques originally when developing Halo 5. Now, they prioritized 60 frames per second, which is a good choice, and in order to keep this 60 frames per second, Halo 5 uses a dynamic resolution, meaning that in more stressing times the game will shrink the resolution and lower it down just so it can keep up the frame rate. It even uses dynamic assets to the point where if the resolution can't be dropped below its minimum point, it will drop the quality of the shadows, it will drop the quality of the textures, drop the quality of the effects, drop the quality of the lighting, whatever it does, or any combination of all of the above, just to try keep the frame rate. Unfortunately, the game doesn't keep a solid 60 FPS, despite all of these, well, let's call them technical introductions to help assist the frame rate. Which brings me back to 343 Industries promising true 4K for the Halo 5 patch. So what does that mean? Well, realistically, it should mean that we have a 2160p native image. Now, to be specific, that is a 3840 by 2160p native rendered image. No checkerboarding, no upscaling. That would be the native resolution. Now, what are we going to see? Will there be a dynamic resolution? Will we see dynamic asset scaling to the sense of them, lowering it on the fly just to keep 60 FPS? Will the game be more specifically, I should say, will it be able to keep a better frame rate? Will the frame rate fluctuate more, and will it be wildly varying a lot more because of the extra load on the resolution? Now, also at the same time, is what are we going to see from the assets, from the shadows, from the textures, from the quality of lights, from the quality of effects, all of that? Are they going to be really dynamic? Are they going to be cranked up to what would be max? Are they going to be the same as the kind of standard settings? Because at the end of the day, if all of that stuff, if all the textures and assets and effects and all, if that has to be lowered to what would just be okay at 1080p or even potentially lower, it begs the question, what's the point of giving us native 4K if you're giving us assets and using effects qualities that aren't even suitable for 1080p? So we'll see how it goes. The only reason I want to nitpick all with this is because of everything we've seen with other games and their big promise of uncompromised 4K, which we've seen since last year and its official announcement, is no longer the case for the majority of stuff. So just as we wind down and get to the end of this video, I also want to throw in one extra little bit of an announcement that 343 Industries and Microsoft had today. They have announced that the entire 360 Halo library will be coming to Xbox One, I should say, backwards compatibility later this year. We already know Halo Reach is already on Xbox One backwards compatibility, but later on this year, they will be adding Halo Anniversary Combat Evolved, Halo 3, Halo ODST, or Halo 3 ODST if you want to be specific, Halo 4 into the backwards compatibility program, so that you can still play with your old friends if they haven't moved over from the 360 to Xbox One, and maybe they're still playing their old Halo games on the 360 and you're playing on Master Chief Collection, but you can't play it together. Well, guess what? Now you can. So naturally, you still have to buy the games, or you have to buy a digital copy or use the physical disc, just like you would as usual. But there's an extra little bit of a benefit. When these games are added to backwards compatibility later this year, all of the DLC for these 4 games will become available for free. So no longer will you have fragmented player bases on anyone who uses these games, and anyone who does play them can now get the full, proper, wide experience of, well, I would say Halo, but just of whatever Halo game they're playing or whatever they choose to play. So I think that's pretty cool for people who haven't moved over to Xbox One yet, or people who haven't moved over to the Master Chief Collection, or people that don't want to buy it, or people that want to go back and play with their friends but maybe don't have a 360 anymore. So what do you think on the whole patch with the 4K, or as they call it, the true 4K? What do you think we're going to see? Do you think we're going to see a native 4K solid 60 FPS with acceptable quality textures and effects? Or do you think we're going to see dynamic resolutions? Or do you think we're going to see checkerboarding with a terrible frame rate? Do you think it's going to vary wildly? Are they going to have to turn the settings down just to get the frame rate and just to get the resolution? Let me know what your predictions are, because I'm going in tempered. As someone who plays a lot of Xbox, well, not Xbox One, but as someone who plays a lot of Halo 5, I'm going in with my expectations tempered, because I will be getting an Xbox One X more than likely, but I'm being realistic about everything we know about the console so far. It just leaves me with questions and leaves me with, well, we'll see until it actually comes out based on what they say. So let me know what your expectations for it and your, well, we all know what people's hopes, but your realistic expectations are, as well as your opinion on the whole backwards compatibility thing, making all the games available on backwards compatibility even though the Master Chief Collection exists, them actually making the DLC free for all users, because I think that's pretty cool as well. Let me know all of that in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the rest of the videos in my channel.